All right, I woke up this morning. My Seestar ran a plan last night, but I have turned on auto shutdown on my plans. So when they complete, it doesn't continue to drain the battery. So I turned it on because I'd heard about the new update, and no update came through. But when I followed the link to the changes, here's what has been released. So I want to go through it and see if there's anything that's really exciting about it. So it says the new features. This is a link to the ZWOastro.com. It says that there's a celestial library added 4 new star catalogs. Ooh, that'll be kind of exciting. Could be interesting. Go to is permitted when the sun and moon are below the horizon. Oh, that'll be good because it doesn't necessarily know about your setup in EQ mode, so it sometimes tells you it's below the horizon when it's not. So that's a good one. Added a light pollution map card to the nearby module. Having it more handy might be helpful. I don't use that a ton. I've used it a few times. I don't use it a lot just because it is what it is. You know, when I set it up, what the light pollution isn't going to probably change for the most part because my house is my house. But it's helpful if you go out in the wild. Fixed an issue with histogram stretching. We probably won't see that. It's just a behind the scenes. Fixed over sharpening of the moon. That could be good. I haven't had a big problem with that, but I don't know. Maybe I have and I just don't know. The stargazing mode now remembers the 4K setting. Oh, that's nice because I don't use the 4K mode very much because it's just the visual at the moment, and it was kind of a hassle to go in and turn it on. Every time you stopped it and went to a new object, you had to remember to go in and turn it on, and I'd never remember, so that'll be good. Added auto retry for failed go-to targets in the plan. Ooh, that one is going to be a good one because I've had this happen to me. In fact, I did a video about how to avoid it by setting up the plan to break up long periods of time into chunks. And because of this problem, and now they've fixed it. So I had this actually happen to me the other night. I thought for sure that I would be able to see Orion from where I had placed my Seestar, but it's kind of behind my house. I have trouble shooting things to the south. The front part of my house is really light. I have a lot of neighbor lights interfering, and so pointing to the south is difficult because if I put the telescope in my backyard, then of course my house is in the way. And so this would be a good one because, you know, you can put it on there for 4 hours and if it fails to find it that very first time, it just cancels that section of the plan and stops. And so that's a good one. Good job, ZWO. I love that they do all these updates. They really seem to listen to the people that are using it and sharing experiences. And then it says update the user privacy agreement and SDK list and okay, whatever. The agreements that we all say we read but we didn't. And then fix known bugs. It doesn't give a whole lot of detail about that. So out of all of these, I think the one I'm most excited about is that auto retry for failed go-to targets in plan. I'd like to know a little bit more about it and, you know, how often will it just continuously auto retry for the whole time period? Or is it just going to retry once after it gets a failed go-to in the plan? That'll be interesting. We're going to have to do some experimenting with that one and give it a go. I'm excited about that one. That's probably the one that I'm the most excited about. Of course, the fix known bugs, I don't really know what those are, but it can only be good if there's a bug in the software and they're fixing it. So I mean, I should be excited about that one, but I think the one I'm going to notice the most is that auto retry for the failed go-to in the plan. Anyway, I got this information off of the ZWOastro.com site. The release has been announced, but when they deploy apps, they don't always deploy them like to everyone at one time. Sometimes they're timed releases and they release to certain parts of the globe before others. And I'm not sure if they do that just because the servers can't handle deploying it everywhere, or if they do that so that if people start having issues in installing the new update, they can halt the deployment of the new app update. I'm not sure exactly. But I'm excited about this. When I get it installed, we're going to look at it and we'll give a try on some of these failed go-to targets in the plan. Maybe I'll do an experiment where I know it's going to fail. Like Orion is an interesting one. If I put the Seestar in my backyard and I place it like in between my house and my neighbor's house, there's a period of time where I can shoot to the south, but it has to be high enough in elevation in the sky. So I could reasonably predict a failure of shooting objects to the south. And so maybe I'll give a try and do a video about the auto retry so we can test it out and see, does it just retry once, or is it going to retry until it has success? Or is it, if you set up a plan for it to image for 6 hours on Orion and it fails for the first 4 hours, is it going to continue trying into that 5th or 6th hour? I don't know. Maybe we'll do a video about that. But those are the updates. I have done a video about how to install the updates if it doesn't show up when you turn on your Seestar and launch the app. If it doesn't prompt you that there's an update and tell you to approve doing the update. I do have a video in my playlist somewhere about how to get that off of the App Store or the Google Play Store and install that update. But if you don't have it today, don't freak out. It's probably just a matter of it hasn't been deployed everywhere yet. So this is the exciting news I woke up to today, and I am excited about mainly that one about the auto failed go-to target in the plan. That'll be a nice one. Some of these other ones will be good, but maybe we won't see that much of a difference, even though they do make a big difference. Anyway, what do you guys all think about the updates? I'd be curious if anybody has gotten it yet. I did launch my Seestar this morning, the app, and I did not get it yet. And I did look in the App Store, and I didn't have it in the App Store yet. So I'll be anxious to hear how the updating goes, and if people are having any issues, because that's always a risk. And you don't want to, it's nothing negative about ZWO and their app updates. It's just the nature of the beast. It happens with all apps that there can be bugs in it. And so we have to be patient as they work through if there are any issues. You can create software all you want, but, you don't necessarily know how it's going to affect every single device out there until you really deploy it. I've built many websites, done many updates on software and programming in my day to know that this is, we just have to be a little patient, and sometimes you just have to deploy the changes without knowing exactly how it's going to affect every single device that's out there and every single user and every single screen, and you just don't always know. And so we have to be patient with these app updates, and being a little hesitant to install them maybe is a good plan if you don't want to run into problems, because if you wait a day or two, you'll hear about all the problems and then maybe you can avoid them. But I usually do the updates pretty much as soon as they come out, just because I know that if there's a problem, they're going to fix it pretty quickly if it, crashes your app or something. But Anyway, we're excited for the new updates. We're going to give it a try, and subscribe for more videos that'll be coming. We'll do a few on the app updates and additional new ones on different equipment we have. And so if you want to join us, click the subscribe button. All you have to do is click that little circle that says the College Gateway in the corner of the video. That subscribes you. And so we look forward to having you join us. Clear skies, everybody.